Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I've got something a bit different today to share with you. I've been making a Sophie scarf, so if any of you like knitting, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I've knitted this Sophie scarf. It's the first one I've made actually, and this is it. So my first one was a few little mistakes I made, which I need to correct them, but it's because I was kind of like in the zone. It's one of those really easy to knit pieces, but what I thought would be really nice is to have some embroidery just here and possibly like down the ends somewhere, maybe some flowers. So I thought what I would do is I would show you what I'm planning. This is the yarn that I use. This is a Biff Sugar Yarn. It's a DK weight actually that I bought from them about 2 years ago. It was their Bewitched colourway, so it was like a Halloween colourway, and I really loved the colours. It's got lots of lovely pinks and purples and kind of rusty oranges. It's just beautiful colour. You can see obviously it knits up really nicely. And I thought it would really lend itself to that, because I don't like knitting socks, and I know a lot of people that, you know, are knitters and they buy all these kind of hand-dyed beautiful yarns and make socks, but I just don't enjoy making socks, and I sort of feel like, you know, I'd rather have something that I can see and enjoy and wear. So this is obviously not 4-ply, it's a DK weight, but Biff Sugar Yarns, they do beautiful colourways. You can find them on Instagram. So what I thought is I would show you my plans. I've got all these tapestry wools here, embroidery wools, sorry, not tapestry, and I bought these from Handworked in Penzance. I really love these colours. So what I'm going to do is I've picked these colours out to do the embroidery design in. I've got some soluble stabiliser, so it's embroidery stabiliser, but you basically trace your design on, and then you can sort of pin that down onto your item that you're going to embroider, and then you can just wash it away when you finish. So that's my plan. I bought this on Amazon actually. I couldn't find anything locally, so I bought this before I went to London, so otherwise I probably would have bought some there. But yeah, I did buy that from Amazon. I'm not a fan of lining the pockets of Mr. Bezos, but never mind. So I've got this book here. This is Simply Stitched with Wool. I bought this one in Loop in London when I was there. Not this time that I went, but the time before. I really love this designer's books. She's got so many. I presume it's a she actually. But anyway, this is one of the books, and I really like the designs. So let's just have a little look through and see. So what it does, it shows you designs kind of made up at the beginning. I just love all these sort of colours as well, the green and pink with red. And then the actual pattern is further back. So I'm just going to show you the designs. That's what's on the front cover. I love that one too. The Mosa shawl. I fancy something kind of like a big floral. I might have to choose elements of something. I love that one. That's really nice. And that one. This is beautiful. I love those colours. I really like this, but I'm not going to have a lot of room to do that whole thing because it is quite big. But I could take elements of it. I could just maybe not have so much foliage on there. I do like this bit, and I like this bit and this bit as well. You can probably hear my cat meowing at me through the door. The little doggy, our Willow, has gone out for a walk, and Dexter just came in. Dexter is our cat, he's a Bengal. He came in. I love this too. This is really nice. I love all of these designs, but I think for what I've sort of got something like this in mind, or that's the one I just showed you, something like that, I think is what I want. Yeah, Dexter didn't know if he wanted to be in or out of the room, but I thought I could do with him out of the way while I'm trying to film a video, because he'll probably start walking across the screen. And because I've got yarn out as well, he'll definitely be wanting to get involved in that. We've got this one. This is a pansy. I love that. My granddad used to love pansies, and I feel like I'd like to use that at some point for something. I really love this too, this flower. I think actually that might be the one that I'd kind of eyed out earlier on. So that one is a classical flower sampler. Let's just pop that in there just so I can remember where that is. But you can see they're so beautiful, these designs. That's lovely too. It's a bit like the Yorkshire Rose, which, if you don't know, that's where I'm from originally. Yeah, so it's got loads of information about how to get started, the tools you need, transferring embroidery designs, and then these are the patterns. So I'm not going to show you that because obviously it's a paid for book, it's a pattern, and that's not fair to give that away to somebody else. So the one that I was looking at was page 79, which is this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop that to one side because I'm pretty sure that is what I'm going to use. And then I'm just going to show you this book as well. This is a book from, is it Dover? Is it a Dover book? Yeah, it's Dover Press. They do amazing books for creatives, you know, for pattern ideas, these sort of things. They've got so many. These are great, and they're all sort of vintage archival patterns, so you are able to use them. They're not copyright or anything, but it's beautiful, this book. I think I got this on, I don't know if it was eBay or Vinted, I can't remember, but it's got some really lovely designs. And the thing is with these sort of things, when I was a knitwear designer, we used to use tools like this because you can take elements of things as a starting point, and then you can kind of design your own. You can, you know, you don't have to use the whole thing. You can just sort of, you know, use bits, place things together. And obviously, you know, these sort of things can be used for beading, embroidery, painting, all kinds of things, drawing, illustration. They're just a great starting point. And there are some lovely designs in here as well. Love that. Can you hear him? Meow. He's very vocal, is Dexter. He's normally meowing about something, but not anything of any importance. Bless him. He's recently started to get a bit more affectionate, which is nice, because he's always been quite fiercely independent. This is nice too. I mean, obviously that's way too big and too much going on, but it's a really nice design. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the one from the other book. These are lovely too. Great for textile design or print, or yeah, we used to use a lot of things like that in my design days. So what I'm going to do, I'll just open this out. I did, like I said, I did get this on Amazon, but and there it is. So all you do, it's got like a slightly shiny side, that side, so you'd place that down over your pattern that you want to draw around, and then obviously draw it and then cut it out, and then you pin this to your piece that you want to embroider on, and then once you've finished the embroidery, you can then pop that in the water and it will all dissolve. Magic. Okay, so I'm going to do this with you here. I'm just going to roll that out a minute. So we've got a bit of room. In fact, what I might do is just cut a piece off because I don't need. Got some little scissors there. place that down. And what I've got to trace on is one of these friction pens. This is a purple one. And I'm just going to start by drawing around. I definitely want this part here, so and the other thing with this book is it shows you how to fill in. Obviously you've got the picture as well, so you can follow the original picture, the one that's already been embroidered, and then just makes it a lot easier. So if you haven't tried this kind of technique before, it's really good. Because obviously on something knitted, like a jumper or a shawl or a collar, or you can't trace onto that like you can with fabric. So this technique is the best way to do it, really. Unless you want to be freehand, that's another way you can do it. But I want to use this specific design, so you can always draw your design out first if you want to design your own embroidery, and then you can use this soluble stabilizer, and when you've embroidered it on, you just wash it away. It's magic. You can see what I'm doing there. I was going to record this last night, but I started recording a different video, which was it was for my Dotty B vintage Christmas Advent of Stitchery piece that I was filming, and I filmed for 25 minutes, and when I went to watch it back so that I could upload it to YouTube, the first 4 minutes were absolutely fine, but then everything then started going in slow motion, and it was going, and I was like, oh, I don't believe I've just spent all that time. And I was talking all about my trip to London as well, and how that had gone, what had happened last week, because I had an accident while I was there, and so I'm basically in the wars at the moment, and I can't really walk properly. I've had an injury to my ankle, left ankle, and my right knee, and I'm not really able to walk. I've got a lot of swelling, a lot of pain. Yeah, it's not the best, I have to say. But I was talking all about that. I mean, to be honest, while I was talking, I was thinking, oh, nobody wants to hear this. But I carried on anyway. I might keep this bit here. I mean, you can always draw out the whole thing, and then you can just cut out the bits you don't want, you know, remove them, or, you know, use them and place them in a different area. You don't have to, there's no rules really, it's just whatever you. And obviously this is a pattern book. I'm using this for my personal use, I'm not selling the piece that I'm embroidering onto. It's literally for myself, so that's why it's okay to use this sort of book, because obviously this is a pattern. But yeah, oops. And it doesn't matter if you make little mistakes like that, because this is gonna all wash away anyway. It's just to give you the basic framework for the design. I think we need that bit. Sorry if my hands are getting in the way, but I'm trying to keep the stabilizer stable as it were, because it's I've not secured it down. I could have put some paper clips, or I've got some of those little clips that I use for quilting there as well. I'll put the leaves in for now. But yeah, you could like secure the edges, you know, just to keep it really flat, or you could use some actually I've got some washi tape just to my side. Right, I don't think I want all this in there because it's not gonna, I do like that though. Let's see, what do we think? That's really pretty, isn't it? I might just use that, you know. So I'll pop that to one side. Get rid of my pen. I don't need these bits anymore. I'll just move the threads a second. I do need to do a couple of repairs on this, but let me just figure out which I want to be the outside. The top side, should I say? Do I want that one or do I want that one? I think I want this one. Right, so there's the centre back, or it would be at the front depending where you want that to be. And then that's quite nice, isn't it, there? So I've got some pins here. These are like just normal pins that I would use for dressmaking. They're the glass head pins from Prim. They're really good, really nice and sharp, and they're so smooth. I've also got these applique pins, which are shorter. These are what I'd use if I'm doing slow stitching or applique or something. The good thing about these ones is you can see the difference. These are long and these are very short. So the short ones are great when you're sort of dealing with threads and things like that, because they, you know, they can get wrapped around the needles, can't they? So I think I might use those. Do I want that jaunty or do I want that? I quite like it going that way because I feel like it goes with the curve of the, I just don't know whether I want it like that or I could do that as well, not have that part on and just have this. It's quite sweet. I do think you need something down here because otherwise it, what do you think? I know you can't obviously, well you can comment, but I will have made a start before we get to doing the design. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that way because actually that feels like it's on a, maybe that, yeah. The centre is here, but then that looks quite good, that sort of naturally fits in there. Could always move that to there, couldn't I? Or if I didn't have that on at all, I could have it like that. Or I could have it so it's straight on, like this. You kind of want that more there though, I think. What do we think? I'm probably really overthinking this. I think I'm going to do it like this. So, oops. You can see what I mean about not necessarily using all of the design. I'm not obviously going to be able to use all of that. So have you done embroidery onto knitwear before? Have you used this technique? I'd love to know how you find it if you enjoy embroidering onto garments. I just think it's a nice way to upcycle your things, and particularly with like cardigans and, you know, sweaters, knitwear, jumpers, and, you know, scarves as well. It's quite a nice thing you could do for somebody as a present, is if you find, you know, quite a basic scarf or something, or a shawl, and then you could just do a bit of embroidery on there yourself, make it a bit more personal. Are we going to keep that on? No, I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut this bit off. Probably shouldn't do this so close to the knitwear because these scissors are super sharp, so we don't want to. I'm just going to cut some of that excess off. Yeah, they go through fabric like butter, like a hot knife through butter. Let's chop that bit there as well. Right, so we've got our design down. Now we've got our threads. Let's get a needle and get that one. I've got various different needles in there. I do really like these tulip needles though. This little tube was the milliner's needles, the straw ones. But I'm just using the pot for just keeping while I was travelling, so that I'd got pins safely in there. Right, let's have a look at the design again. So this is the design. So I mean, these colours just work so well, don't they? So in terms of the pinks, I'm probably not sure about those. I might just stick with pinks. That could be the red bit, the dark red bit, and then that one maybe, the light one. Do we like those, or do we like those? That's quite light, that one, isn't it? I mean, this does have orange in it. I'm just not sure about that combo. They're too close, I think, to each other. I might use those, I think. Let's start with the red anyway. So a good tip with these sort of threads, you get like these DMC as well, is if you push, obviously you can wind them onto something different if you fancy, but if you push these together, it stops the bits falling off the edge, and then you can just pull your thread. I'm not going to take too much at once because it can. Let's move those out of the way. We don't need those or those. And see that? Just means I can see it as well. Got my needle. I'm just going to chop that off there. And then I'll let you stay and watch me stitch for a bit. I'm not going to knot the end of this because I just want to, I'm going to leave a bit of a tail. So what I'm doing is this bit here. So it's that bit and that bit. So I'm just going to start here. Just going to leave a tail like that, and then I can weave that into the knit as I go. So You could also do this so it doesn't go through to the other side and just catch the top, but I want it to be nice and secure, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, it feels really nice to stitch this as well. It's very soothing. There's no like resistance from the piece underneath, it's just really smooth. So yeah, this time last week we were in London, and I'd got all these plans about things I wanted to do, places I wanted to go. Luckily I did do quite a few things on the Thursday in the day, but it was the Thursday evening that I had a fall and really hurt myself, so I was out of action for the rest of the trip. And then we had to drive 6 hours back from London to Cornwall on the Sunday, and also I had to get across town to go to you know, the station and all, but my partner Gavin was there working, and I was like I said, I've got all these lovely plans of things that I wanted to do. I did manage to go to Loop, I went to Liberty. I did a lot of filming in both those places, so I've got quite a few vlogs to come out, which I'm putting together at the moment. But yeah, it was such a pain, it was so annoying, because I'd planned to go to Jessie Chorley had an exhibition on in, I think it was Southwark, and I'd planned to go and do that on the Friday, but I was literally in the hotel room the whole day because I just couldn't walk properly. I was in so much pain, and then I was just hoping by resting that the swelling and all would go down, and you know, kept putting ice on and everything, but it's just gradually been getting worse and worse. I have been to urgent care when I got home. I had x-rays and everything, and they said that I haven't broken anything. It is literally ligament damage, like deep tissue. So sore, so I'm not able to go to work at the moment because my job is quite active and on my feet, so yeah, it's not the best, but it's fine. I think the people have worse things going on. I think it's just teaching me patience as well, and you know, I was getting really frustrated not being able to go and do all these things, but I'm glad that I did get to do some things, and we did get to go and have some nice food. And we don't have in the UK there's a restaurant called Wagamama, which is Japanese. It is a bit of a chain, but we don't have it in Cornwall, and it's a place that we both miss going to eat. We don't have a lot of chains in Cornwall, of, you know, restaurant chains and food chains and, you know, shop chains. A lot of the places are independent, which is great, but sometimes there are things that you miss. But it was lovely to be back in London again, and it was lovely being there when it was Christmas. We saw the lights on Regent Street, and I went to Liberty and had a great time looking around the Christmas shop. I filmed a lot of that for you, so I'll be sharing that, like I say, very soon. And I also went around the haberdashery and the yarn, the fabric department, and I also went to Loop and did some filming there, so we've got another video coming out for there. I was just fills my cup going to London. I used to if you don't know much about me or you haven't seen on my channel before, I've done a lot of travel. Sorry, just let me stop that 1 second. Sorry about that, guys, a little interruption. Partner and Willow came back from their walk and they were in the kitchen, and I didn't want any background noise, so I stopped recording for a minute. And then also the postman turned up, so that's something exciting that I'm looking forward to having a look at in a minute. So whilst that was going on, I just finished that little bit there. I'm going to use this for this bit, and then I'm going to use that one for the main outside, pale pink. And then if you can hear that noise, that's the dog running down the stairs like a baby elephant. Oh, you can't try and do anything professionally in here, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know the colours I used for these. So these are the Eco Vita Organic Wool from DMC. So the outside colour that I used is 406, and it's a really nice mottled kind of deep burgundy maroon colour, deep red, like a wine colour. And then the pink, the darker pink that I'm going to use for here, that is 404, and that's a beautiful pink, nice and deep. I decided the pinks were better than these more peachy tones. I think they don't quite go, whereas these, I feel they look nice on that background. The light one I've got is 401, and that's a really pale pink. It's very tonal with that one. And then for the little bits in the flower, I think what I'm going to do is use this bit as well, maybe over here. I don't know that I'm going to use these little white flowers because I think they'll kind of get lost. But this mustardy colour, ochre colour, is 204. That's a really nice shade as well. But I really like those together. I think they all look very nice. So I'm going to do the pink now. So I haven't recorded a really long video for a while, but I think it's quite nice to have these sort of videos as well, because they're quite, I know that I enjoy watching other people's, and it's quite a nice thing to have on while you're doing some work yourself, and then you can just keep looking up. It's just quite nice to, I like when people chat in their videos and they're, you know, sort of sharing what they're doing, talking about their life, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to leave a bit of an end again. That should be enough. This is quite quick to do as well because it's on the knitwear. It's so smooth, very easy, very enjoyable. It's not, you know, sometimes when you're embroidering, it's a lovely thing to do, but when you're putting needles sometimes through certain fabrics, it can be quite hard on your hands, particularly if you're going through lots of layers, whereas this is just so simple. And it's working up really quickly as well. I won't record myself sewing up the whole thing because that's probably a bit boring, and I don't want the video to be so long. But yeah, this scarf is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. If you are a knitter, you will definitely have heard of it. It's seems like it's a bit of a, it's been out for a few years, but it seems at the moment it's a bit of a thing on TikTok. Everybody's making them. I don't really use TikTok, but it's one of those platforms that I don't know, I don't massively enjoy it myself. But I think it depends on the channels that you're looking at though. There's just some absolute rubbish on there, kind of influencery type content, which is not always very interesting. But yeah, this is working up nicely, nice and quick. But yeah, the scarf is the Petite Knit scarf. Sorry, by Petite Knit, and it's the Sophie scarf. There is a Sophie shawl as well, which is bigger. It's just basically, it's the same pattern, but it's just, you just keep going for longer. You do sort of increases and decreases on the same side. It's a very easy pattern to do, but saying that, you do like this I-cord edging, and when you're just doing knit all the time, which side is it on this one? When I started here, you can see I just kept knitting right to the end and forgot until I'd gone a few rows up, and I thought, oh, do you know what, I'm not gonna take it back and frog it, because I think sometimes with handmade things, it's quite nice to have a few little like, you know, incidental mistakes where you kind of, it reminds you of when you made it, and, you know, probably the thing that made you have the mistake. So I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna leave it. It's fine. It's all part of the charm. I love handmade for that reason. So let me know if you've made a Sophie scarf before, or many Sophie scarves. I think the thing with them is once you make it and you realise how simple it is to do, you can't stop making them. And when you find yarns that you really like as well, it's a really nice project to do with a nice yarn. So all the indie dyed yarns are ideal for that sort of this sort of thing. Yeah, that's a nice pink on there, isn't it? So I don't think I'm going to use that bit because there's not much there, and I want to just try and do the rest of that in one piece. The thing about doing embroidery on knitwear as well is obviously the background that you're stitching onto is, this is obviously quite wavy and it's quite spongy, whereas when you do embroidery on fabric like here, it's nice and flat, and so you get like a neater finish. But I don't mind that. It's fine. It's all, like I say, it's all part of the charm. Pussycat's back, he's meowing. Yeah, like I say, try and do a professional setup and you get all the animals, everybody's making noise, making lunch, or it's not a problem, I'm not moaning really, but it's just typical, like, you know, when you're trying to do something yourself, you're just like, just give me 5 minutes just to do what I'm trying to do. Have you embroidered on knitwear before? Let me know how you got on, how you found it. Do you enjoy it? It's funny how when you're doing the stitching, it really kind of like bunches everything up. Beautiful day here today. What day is it today? It's November the, I'm not sure, it might be 21st maybe. I'm not really sure. I think with me being off work and not being in a normal routine, I've kind of really lost track of what day it is. Quite funny. I quite like that sometimes. I mean, I know it's Friday, but I'm not sure what the date is today. I don't really need to know what the date is, to be fair. I think it's quite nice sometimes just, you know, not being in that rush culture. In London it was busy, but I don't know if maybe you live in London or you're from there now, but I used to live there. I lived there for 12 years and I really enjoyed it. But sometimes when you go back, it's such a different pace of life to down here in Cornwall, which is quite sleepy and, you know, kind of laid back in comparison. So when you do go to a place like that, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming, but I didn't find it like that this time actually, for some reason. I always used to find when I lived there that although you're in a big city and there's a lot going on and there are a lot of people, you can kind of feel the company in the presence of other people, but not sort of having to, you know, necessarily speak to anyone, but you sort of don't feel alone. I don't know. I know different people have different experiences of big cities, places like London, but I really enjoyed living there. I think as a creative person, it's such a great place to be. There's just so much on offer and so many things you can do and so much inspiration and variety, and There's always something to do. You can never get bored. I think one of the things is it's finding that is more difficult is finding somewhere to get a bit of peace. But you know, there are so many like parks and amazing places that you can go. I'm just going to go back through here so I can just fit this bit in a bit. I mean, obviously the white won't show through when I've washed this away because it won't be there, but it's nice when the embroidery feels quite full. That bit there isn't part of this. It's kind of the background here, look. So that's that bit. See, it's working up so quick, isn't it? And then, there we go. That's looking really nice. And then I'm going to just go round and do all that bit. It's not going to take me long. I think what I'll do is I'll either record this, me doing this and speed it up, or I won't record it and I'll show you when I've finished that bit. So I'll see you in a while.